So you've decided you're on a journey and you want to experience the most, huh? I can dig it. Why don't you come down this road? It's not too much traffic, lots of peace and serenity. You know, the road less traveled. I am Dolo, your friendly spiritual assistant. I'm here to help, and I'm glad you're here. Here on the road less traveled, there's a lot of self-reflection, self-development, and lots of love always. Warning, there are no shortcuts on this road. But if you stick with it, you're guaranteed to get where you need to be, where you want to be.
Hello again, my beautiful bigger budget beings. I am your host of The Road Less Traveled, Diggity Dolo. Welcome back if it's your first time. Welcome in the first place. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and let's get intimate with one another. As usual, I totally appreciate you being here with me. It means much more than you could ever know. And a little support goes a long way. So if you find a subject that comes up and makes you feel a little better about something, spread the word, pass it along. Maybe help someone else feel a little better about a little something. Because we love one another, don't we? Yeah, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Anyway, on today's episode, we will be discussing something I know you've been waiting for. I know you've been waiting on it because everybody likes to talk about this. Or maybe it's just us lovers that are very interested in the love. That's right, we're talking about manifesting. Bringing in that man, calling in that partner, bringing him into the physical realm from your dreams, from your thoughts, from your imagination, from your desires, from your wants, your needs, your thoughts. Let's bring him in. I'm going to discuss manifesting a mate. However, I will also skim over manifesting a specific person only because this would not be a thorough episode if I didn't at least address it. Kind of like when we talked about the ego and then we kind of talked about the subconscious a little bit. You know, they go hand in hand. So let's discuss it. Manifesting a partner. Point number one, very important point that I'm going to mention from the beginning because in my mind and in my experience, manifesting a partner and manifesting a specific person are vastly different things. And yet the procedure is not so different. So I'll start by saying that there is a fine line between realms. Intention is key. What are your intentions when you are calling something or someone in, when you are wanting to bring them about? What are your intentions? It matters. I don't promote manifesting a specific person. It is from a having done it position. Yeah, I dabbled. I understand that I possess powers, and I like to see what I can do with them. That being said, I have in the past manifested a person by name after I had met them and already dealt with them. It wasn't like I called in someone who said they never wanted to see me again. It wasn't like that, but I could. Anyway, repercussions of interfering with free will are real. I can't say that anything specifically, you know what, I'm lying. The repercussions are real. Okay, so again, depending on your intention of wanting this specific person, either way, I don't think it's a great idea to involve someone by name, by face, by specification. Because what happens is eventually it will bounce back onto you. Um, the fact that they were not willing to be with you and that you kind of manipulated them into being with you. You may find yourself 10 times as sad later. You may find yourself 10 times as lonely. You may find yourself attracting terrible people like you if you have ill intent. What I'm saying is, if you have ill intent when you're calling someone in, then that ill intent is what will come back to you tenfold. Just keep it in mind. Again, the free will, you can do whatever you want. The question is, what types of results are you looking for? You are capable, you are very capable of manifesting not only a partner, a mate that you do not know, have never met, not even sure if they exist, and you are also very capable of calling in a specific person, someone you've been with, someone you just know, celebrities. It's like real. You can. You can. But again, in my personal experience, I realized that me trying to micromanage or manipulate it in any way is not allowing the universe to fulfill my needs from the best standpoint to cover all of the areas that I was asking for. I realized that everyone has a season in your life. We meet people, we move on, they serve a time, they serve a purpose, everything is for a reason, and then you just move on and meet somebody else. I kind of explain the theory as a video game. We've all played many video games. Video games like The Sims, Grand Theft Auto, even. Video games that have characters in which you embody that character and become them to go around the game. A lot of people say we are in a simulation. I don't disagree with it. My theory is yes. Like I mention all the time, there are at least 8 billion people on this earth, or somewhere around there. Enough people that you could never meet them literally while you're here, even if you set it up to do it half an hour at a time. 3 people every half an hour. I don't think it's going to work. I only because you're not actually meeting them if you're just drifting them through 3 at a time and you're just trying to get the numbers up. You are not confined to speaking to the people that you know only, and you are not confined to only knowing the people that you know now. There are always more people to sift through. And the way that I look at it is just like in a video game when you walk up to someone, Zelda, for instance, Zelda. You walk up to someone, you have a little conversation, you see the little chat box, either they have something valuable to say that's going to help on your journey or your mission, or they ain't talking about nothing. Like the dude in the garden that just be like, oh, the birds are blue. There's always a character. What are they called? The non non. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. They are the non-player, whoever they are, the characters that don't really have much to add to your life. Just think of people like that. You meet someone and you feel like, okay, I don't know what I met them for. That didn't add any value. First of all, again, I believe there is a lesson in everything if you look for it, if you listen for it, if you pay attention for it. However, even that being said, the person that you met did not have to stay long. It was just you just checked to see if they had something for you. They didn't have nothing. So what do you do in the game? You go ahead and walk away from that person and you meet the next person and you introduce yourself and then their little box comes up and you find out what they got. That's what we're doing. Walking around meeting one another. So I bring that up just to give you a visual, a grander visual of what we're doing, how this is working as far as communicating with one another and building relationships or not building relationships, having trauma bonds, keeping close to people for too long, even though it's not benefiting us. Look at it as a video game. In the video game, you don't give it second thought when this person says something irrelevant to you and you just turn around and meet somebody else. It's the same thing in life. Someone does something that is not beneficial to your growth, or it's just something you deem you don't want to deal with, and you have the option to walk away and deal with the next person or not deal with anyone at all. Let's keep that in mind. Again, I believe a little downtime, a little alone time, a little solitude, not isolation, but a little solitude can go a long way sometimes, especially when you're wanting to clear your mind. So you don't necessarily have to walk from person to person and conversate. Just know that you have that option. You can do what you want. Technically, literally, you can do what you want. Manifesting a mate, a partner, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a lover, more than one, whatever you're doing in your experience, I salute you. Just love your life. But when manifesting a person, I suggest you don't use names, pictures, only the description. And I'm going to tell you why this tends to go a lot further because I've manifested quite a few people in my life and proud of it. Some worthwhile people, some people that just said the birds are blue in the garden and I was like, gotta go. But the point is I manifested them. I called them in, I bring them into the physical form with my thoughts, with my words, and with my writings. As you know. I mean, I'm an artist. I'm going to write anyway. Might as well write about him, yes? Neville Goddard speaks of living in the end. Okay, this is a very useful tool when it comes to imagination, when it comes to bringing things into the physical realm. The best way for you to concentrate is to visualize and or write down in words. Put yourself where you would be if you were already where you want to be. How would you feel? You wake up, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? What might you be saying? Are you going to eat something? Will you cook? Will someone cook for you? Like real details about what that life would look like for you and what a life would look like with your partner. That's what I'm getting at. Without a name, without a person in mind, if you know that you want a partner, you want a mate, you want a spouse, you want someone there with you, a companion, whatever it is, you need to identify what it is that you want first and then get the description in your mind. Because what happens is if you start calling people in by the description specifically, you are obviously getting a certain filter of individuals coming your way. You're attracting on a certain level, and that's going to depend on where you're vibrating, I suppose. You're going to attract what you are. However, if you are imagining that you're living in the end, if you're speaking like you're living in the end, if you're writing like you're living in the end, and if you're behaving like you're living in the end, it's only a matter of time before it comes to fruition. Practice makes perfect. If you were to do that consistently behave this way, next thing you know, you're calling in what you've asked for. You are being what you've asked for, and you're calling it in. That is really the key to the manifesting, becoming what it is that you want. And I think that misses a lot of people because a lot of people are good at talking a good game. A lot of people like to talk about what they want and what they're going to do and the person that they are without realizing that sometimes it is just words. Is that actually how you behave? Do you follow through when no one's looking? Or is this just something you do for show when people are around? Who are you behind closed doors? Ask yourself that because that's what you're going to attract. And therefore, you are in control of what you attract. Once you adjust yourself in the ways that you feel are necessary to get where you're going, that is what you'll bring in. But it's like that age old saying, you have to start with yourself. It's true. You have to start with yourself. And in the beginning, when I was wanting specific people and it was because it wasn't working out, I'm like, yeah, no, it can work out. Let me just, yeah, in the beginning, I realized even though I loved myself, there were other levels I was not paying attention to when it came to loving myself and taking myself seriously and following through on things that I said I wanted. We're all works in progress. So I mentioned that just to let you know that if you're serious about it, behave the way that you see yourself behaving once you're in that position. Behave the way that you would like your spouse to behave, or your partner to behave, or your mate to behave with you. And that goes right down to some things that you might currently find a little uncomfortable, possibly even creepy, but I do them, I ain't gonna lie. Hug yourself. I hug myself. I hug myself. I kiss myself. And that's not because I don't have someone hugging and kissing me. It's just because I learned that that was the segue into it, like to actually treat me how I wanted someone to treat me. And so if I'm having a day that feels a little tough, go ahead and order myself some food, make it easier. And to the average person, that might not mean anything, but I don't eat out often, and for lots of reasons. I don't eat out very often. So, for instance, when I was trying to manifest, if it was a day I didn't want to cook, I would order out because that's what I would want my spouse to do. I would want to be catered to. I would want someone to set it up so that it's simple. And then I go and I get, if I want to take a bath, if I want to put on some socks and a robe and just kind of sit to myself, I would treat me how I wanted someone to treat me. And boom, that's what does it. Yeah, I made it a habit of speaking on what my partner added to my life, why my existence got better with my partner. It is very, very relevant to love yourself genuinely to attract what you want. Just understand that that's not a step you can skip. There's no corners that you can cut here. It is what it is. If you're not actually living in that, you're just not going to actually pull in what you're saying you want to pull in. It's really that simple. My personal results got better and more accurate every time I did it. And you may ask, why does she keep doing it then? It's because, first of all, let me run it back. I am a Virgo. And what that means is I have high expectations. I will not settle. And that's because I have high expectations of myself. I believe in quality. I show up and I show up well. Therefore, I always want someone that can be bigger than me, better than me, or at least that's my perspective of him. Because then I have something to work towards in my mind. I have a partner I can bounce off of. He's big, let me catch up with him. That's how I work up here. So that being said, if I meet someone and we get along great and things are going well for a while, it may come down to the fact that somewhere down the line I find out they're really insecure inside and they're not the leader I thought they were. But the bottom line is that I know what I'm searching for. And so as I figured it out and as I dated people, I would literally just take what I was not fond of from that person and revamp it in my writing. I'd revamp it to something I was fond of, and I would add more details to things that I might have overlooked, things that I hadn't realized were that important to me. So literally every time I separated from someone, that's what happened. I said, "Oh, yeah, so next time this is what we're going to do." Because I'm not going to settle. I want what I want. And I'm entitled to what I want. That's why I have what I want. But every time that I put my thoughts, my feelings, my requests into writing, I updated. My manifestation updated. I grew. And therefore, so did my manifestation. Same thing with life. Learn, adjust. Learn, adjust. That's how we're navigating it. And if you learn to listen and let go when the time is appropriate, it's just going to keep coming. The greatness, the beauty, the adventure, the unexpected will just keep coming. If you're here for that, that's how we hit it. Growth is a part of this experience. It doesn't necessarily mean that if your idea of a great mate changes in any way or adjusts, that means the universe is going to make them go away and bring you a new one. Not necessarily, not unless that's what you specifically say that you want. What can happen is you may be with someone for quite some time and perhaps you feel like you're outgrowing them and now you want this and you add it to your manifestation. The universe has endless options. And what happens here is either you have a willing participant that's going to meet you where you are now to grow with you, to bounce off of you, or you have someone that's just not up for the job and or can't, isn't capable during that time period. Whatever the case is, it's fun. Get to a place where you're ready to just let go because even if you don't have them, you still get you. Man, when I realized that, when that really set in, I said, what have you really been having a problem with all this time? Granted, I love a good man. I love me a good man. The smell, the responsibility, the manliness, if there's muscles, the skin, the hair, the voice, just all of it. I love me a good man. However, I realize anytime I am adjusting or growing and someone can't come with me because that's a real thing. Sometimes they can't come. They're not capable. They don't know what to do when they get there. They're not ready like you are. So you either let them go or you stay where they are. When I get to a point where I feel that I need to let someone go or I'm in a place where it's like you or me, I always choose me. And that's because I truly believe that I'm freaking great. I'm great. Like I get to spend 24 hours a day with me. It's worth bragging about. I'm gonna just say it's worth the brag. In any case, when you adjust, and if someone has to part ways with you, if someone has to leave, or if you need to leave them, it is what it is. Just remember, you are still with you. You are still inside of you. Source energy is still inside of you, and you are dope. You are beautiful, amazing, sexy. What else you want to be? I got time. What else you want to be? Don't tarry. Don't be sad. Don't hold on tight until your hands are bleeding. Don't do any of that. Let go gracefully. Relish in the fact that you still have you and look forward to what comes next. But again, if you have someone currently and you're writing on top of that, that person can grow with you. They can meet you. As soon as your vibration changes and they realize it and they realize they want more and better for themselves, they can go ahead and do it. It is within all of us to do what's best for us. Keep in mind, whether it is your current partner, whether it is a partner that you don't have yet, it's going to come down to you writing out those intentions and being very clear about them. What it is that you want, what it is that you will and will not accept, what it is that is fabulous about where you are in that current space. And by current space, I mean in the future. You with me on this? You with me? You know. But yeah, if your current mate maintains any vibration that shows the universe they want to stay with you, they want to stay near you, or they want to grow with you. It's simply like taking a water break. You know, if you have someone that is making the effort and they are showing that they genuinely, like you have all of the physical examples that you need of them genuinely meaning what they say, then yeah, maybe you want to hang in there with that person. Take a little water break, let them catch up to your growth and or surpass your growth during that current time period. And then y'all are back in the game. It doesn't have to be someone new. But again, if they don't adjust, if you're not seeing those changes, if you're not seeing adjustments, growth, then just know it may not be them. And the longer you hold on, the longer you don't have space for what it is you actually want. Keep it in mind. When you're ready to grow, you are either going to grow and that person wants to catch up with you, or this person's going to keep complaining and you're going to be like, oh, okay, maybe I'll just come back down a little bit, which is extremely hard to do. Like, once you know, you know. You can't just go backwards because you feel like it. But some of us do shrink ourselves, try to fit into places we don't fit anymore. You'll end up staying here with this person, and all that you'll know, all that you'll be exposed to, all that you'll attract is there with this person, as opposed to you taking yourself seriously and moving ahead, and or encouraging them to meet you up there, and then you both have the new experiences and you have them together. Just an example. The growth in them can happen without them ever seeing your written desires. Seriously. You just focus on you, keep doing you, and you will attract what it is you want. It doesn't matter the body that it's in, it does not matter the region that that body's in. Stay with the idea of what it is, who it is. You can even physically write a description. Believe me, you can physically write what you wish this person looked like. And with the plethora of people on this earth, that person's going to come in. It's been done, not only by me, but I've heard other people do it. What I like to say is potential is just potential until it's not. You do need two willing components, okay? Always. Anyone that you've invited to your reality should love you just as much as you love you. Otherwise, what are they there for? If you have the minimum love within yourself, they got to come better. They got to come better, whoever they are. Whoever they are. Keep this in mind. I'm not just talking about men, women, men. I'm talking about whatever is in your realm that you love to do, that you're comfortable with, whomever you spend your time with, whomever you spend your energy with, and willingly. That if you are inviting them into your reality because you're the only one in your reality, if you're inviting them to come and spend time in your energy, gaze into your beautiful face, because your face is beautiful. If you allow that to happen, they must have at least as much love for you as you have for you. What are they doing there if they don't love you at least as much as you love yourself? 2 plus 2 equals 5. This person should be capable of loving you during the periods where you're not even sure if you can. You may know deep inside that you love yourself, but we all go through periods where it's just like, I don't know. Am I that person? Am I? You don't know. During those times, you'll want someone that can fill in because they love you at least as much as you love yourself. Able to encourage you to get back into alignment when they see that you're slipping out. Knowing you for who you are. You deserve it, whoever you are. Don't let our society tell you otherwise. Whatever you desire, you can have. And it is a matter of writing those details down. Keep the focus on you when you're manifesting someone. This looks like talking to yourself, spending time with yourself, touching yourself. It looks like you being that person until someone takes over in the physical realm. It looks like advocating for yourself when necessary because you mean so much to you, because you matter to you. You advocate for yourself. And again, with this energy, you'll attract someone else that wants to advocate for you as needed. Turn down those energy vampires. Again, if you know, you know. Some of us have experienced a little bit of everybody on this earth. And I'm here to tell you, there are people that are out here literally just to suck your energy if you let them. And that's the only way they can, if you let them. if you give them the access. If you hand them a straw, that's how they're going to suck it. But it looks like taking care of your body, being well to your body, treating it like you want it to work for the long haul, listening to things that interest you, delving into things that interest you, cooperating with things that interest you, so on and so forth. Putting yourself first, genuinely. Society has taught us that this is a negative thing to do. There tends to be a negative connotation on putting yourself first. But it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. We have been in a terrible society for a long time. What are you proving by putting other people in front of you, especially when they can't see or hear anything from your point of view? What are we doing it for? Whack, whack. But if you take yourself seriously, you dedicate that time to yourself, you write it out, you speak it into existence, you believe it, you make space and time for that manifestation, for that person to come in, that partner, that mate, that lover, that friend, whatever you're looking for. If you go ahead and make that space, they're coming. Trust me, you'll look up and that physical manifestation will be looking in your face. It'll come when you least expect it, and a lot of times way, way better, more than you expected. After that, you must keep it up though. And I don't know that everyone comprehends that or takes it seriously. It may sound like a long term job to some people, but the truth is, if you're pretending to love yourself or you accomplish that for a minute and then later on you get a little lax with it and you're like, okay, I don't have to hug myself today. Just as an example, this is the routine you settled on. I'm going to hug myself every morning and tell myself I love myself. If you do that for months and months and you're believing it, you really believe it, and then one day you have a bad day, you get thrown off from your routine and you're not doing it for a week, yeah, it catches up. That's going to catch up to you. It's going to catch up to you. Anytime that you get out of sync with aligning with self, with your source energy, with loving on yourself, with loving yourself and respecting yourself, you will regress. So keep in mind, if you do it well enough to bring someone into your realm, you have to keep loving on you, despite what that person is or isn't doing, despite what they say, even if their behaviors change towards you. Again, there's no loss here if you actually love yourself. You still got you. And anytime you reach a fork in the road when it comes to another person, love on yourself more. Love on yourself more. Because that always clears up any dilemma that's going on. Love on yourself more. Ignore whatever's going on in your 3D reality. Ignore whatever is here in this physical realm. And love on yourself more. When you talk more about the law of assumption, for instance, you can just assume that something's done before it's done. Similar to living in the end, but it's not actually a sort of visualization. Instead, you are just convinced. It's done. You're assuming. You're saying it with conviction, despite what people around you may be saying, despite what the norm is. Okay, you are insisting, you are assuming that it's done. You're believing that it's done, and therefore it's done. Also, revising. Revision is another tool that's very helpful when it comes to things not going your way in the physical realm. It's going to sound far-fetched if you haven't heard of it and or if you haven't done it before, but understand that something can take place in this physical realm and you can reverse it, turn it around, you can revise it. The way you do it is by basically denying that it happened. Again, people in your everyday life may tell you, oh, don't do that, you're going to be crazy, you're talking to yourself, you're hugging on yourself, you're in denial. Ah, yeah, something's wrong here. But if you've tried other things when it comes to being in a great place in your life, this is one of those things where it's just like, well, what does it hurt to try it, right? What does it hurt? You came to this channel for a reason. You're looking up these videos for a reason. So understand that you can revise. You can revise whatever you want. You can call in whoever you want. You can manifest whatever, whomever you want. Whenever. Whenever, wherever you're meant to be together. Probably not the words, but you know, Shakira. Yeah, just understand that you being specific and meaning what you specify from here is what will shape what you're bringing in. And in the physical realm, it'll be clear over time whether or not this is for you. So again, this is where it comes in. You identify something, this doesn't quite feel like a match. Either you're going to keep holding on to it and pretending it's a match, trying to cover up the way you feel about certain things, sacrificing your own needs, your own wants, only to eventually lead to a separation from the universe anyway, most of the time, or suffering. When you're holding on, when you are denying, when you are disregarding what the universe, what the spiritual realm is trying to assist you to do, a lot of times you will invoke suffering on yourself just because you don't want to listen. The longer we hold on and ignore, the messier it gets in this physical realm. The separation gets messy. Messy. Remind yourself, if you ever find yourself here, just remind yourself you're not on the same vibration. And you and that person are likely heading in different directions, opposite directions even. You can either combine forces and stay as close in frequencies as possible, whatever your individual spirit finds comfortable. You stay as close in a frequency as you can to that person that you care so dearly about and really want to be there. But if one person continues to expand from the point that you attracted one another on, there will be a separation. But I'll tell you, from practicing, listening to spirit will have you releasing rather quickly, whereas ego tends to have you holding on. Ego will normally have you searching for a reason to stay, or usually not wanting to look badly to others. Maybe you have had a lot of breakups. Maybe they didn't think you were a good match with that particular person. Whatever's the case, sometimes we stay in relationships to save face. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Your face is amazing as it is. A lot of times we don't want to look badly to others for one reason or another based on our previous experience. I say often, I will let people think whatever they want of me until the day they die. Because I've heard some of the most ridiculous and unrealistic things about myself, like just unrealistic descriptions and stories that I couldn't figure out how did anyone even conclude that. I couldn't imagine how, if you've ever met me a day in your life on this physical realm, how. But I'll tell you how. It's the perception. It is because everyone is different. It is the perspective. It is from how you're seeing it. It is from your experience what you realize about what you're looking at. Simple as that. Another good saying I've heard before, and I don't know who said it, is that people can only meet you as far as they've gone. They can only meet you, let me put that in other words. People can only meet you as far as they're comfortable going. That's how I like to look at it. Because you can be afraid of the unknown, and so you're not going to go there, or you just feel like you tried something and you didn't like the way it made you feel, and so you're not going there anymore. But if you get matched with someone who's going to go there every time, after a while, you're going to be separated. But yeah, people will conclude whatever they want about your experience, what they're noticing from their perspective, and that is their right to do it. Like, who really cares? But I'm telling you, from someone who took many years to get out of that, who really cares? Like, they ain't nobody. And when it comes to what they think of you, that's the game of telephone for you. Half the time, the people haven't even met you or spent long periods with you to even know what you're about. That being said, how can you take it seriously? It doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. How can you take it seriously? How? How? Then there's that saying that the truth is more boring than the rumor, or rumors are more exciting, rumors are more entertaining. The lie is more entertaining than the truth. Something like that. You know what I'm getting at, okay? People like to be entertained, and therefore it doesn't really matter what the truth is if they get a good chuckle out of it or it sounds exciting. It gives somebody a shock value. You don't care if it's true or not. I mean, we all need something to do, right? Like attracts like. And in this case, it's in reference to a growth mindset, in my opinion, an interest in and conscious decision to move forward in life. So I figured to go ahead and emphasize my point, I'll go ahead and share with y'all just some of a past manifestation. I have to look back into the previous versions because I like to do things online sometimes, and it automatically saves when you use like Microsoft Word online or Google Docs. Yes, I should have all of the previous versions. I'm going to go to the first one and let you all know. BRB.
Okay, I've got it. So I was able to find the previous version, the first version, and it looks like it was written in 2018. I think that's where when it clicked to me that it could be an actual person the way that I wanted it, only to realize as I got further and further into it that I can manifest whatever or whoever I want. I didn't realize it on my own. I watched a lot of videos. I spoke to people who were totally into the subject like I was, and I experimented. That's probably how Dolo learns best. Trial and error. I'm not going to lie. I'm that type of person. I have to physically get in and do it so I can give you the real scoop on what it is. I'm a thorough person, okay? I feel like I don't get all of the information unless I do it myself. At least one time. That being said, I'm going to read my first manifest. I pronounce it that way for a reason. I'm manifesting a man. Anyway, that's what I was doing at this time. So, it's pretty lengthy. It's like 2 pages long. Actually, nowhere near as lengthy as the updated one, but it is pretty lengthy. So I won't go ahead and drag it. I'm just going to give you a couple of paragraphs. Now on my Patreon, if you are not a member of my Patreon, go ahead and become a member because I'm thinking I'll go ahead and give the whole spiel there. And possibly the updated one too, because I got manifests on deck. I'm not gonna lie. I got plenty that I don't want y'all quite to know about. And then I have the ones that I'm willing to share, like my first manifest. It goes a little like this. I have an excellent partner. He is tall and healthy, not light-skinned, with a thick head of hair. He has muscular areas in his build, but is not overly muscular. He has a large foot and smooth, warm brown skin. I know I started off random, but I'm not gonna lie. I started off with the physical because I'm normally not a physically picky person. I'm more of a demisexual. Like, I want to know what's in here. If you're a true intellectual, you got me. If you have a great sense of humor, it's not harsh, you got me. So I started with that, but that was because, especially when it comes to the tall part, I'm pretty tall, and these are things that I was not quite receiving when I was not as intentional about who he was. I wasn't clear, I wasn't specific about what he looked like because it didn't really matter. But once I realized I could do this, I went for what I'm attracted to, what I would like to be there, as long as it matches the personality traits that I'd like, or the spiritual traits that are showing through the human mask. Moving on. My partner is bold, confident, well-liked, wise, kind-hearted, and sweet whenever he talks to me. He is loving, shows me affection by hugging and kissing me. He does not make a scene in public, yet makes it completely clear to all that I am his woman, that I am his prize, his partner, his loved one, his adored one. He is presentable in appearance, assertive when need be. He listens to me and digests. He compromises, he gives, and he accepts love. He trusts in me with his entire being and thinks of me as one of, if not his favorite person. He has a sense of humor that isn't harsh. He is intelligent. He may sing or draw well. Side note. So this initial one that I wrote when I first brought in the one that I wanted at that time, that was like the only thing that did not match about him. Out of this whole manifestation, that was, if I remember correctly, the one thing that didn't match. I don't remember correctly, and I'm not going to finish it again here today, right now. But I remember thinking that, wow, he does not sing. He does not draw. And those were self-proclaimed because I'm a believer that anybody can do whatever. If you want to sing, you sing. You want to draw, you draw. Again, how great or not great it is all about perspective. And that's your perspective, by the way. But anyway, going off on a tangent again. Let's see. That guy didn't sing or draw, according to him. I heard him sing along with the radio sometimes, and I was like, oh, I feel like he could hold a tune, but he was just like, nah, don't do that. So there's that. Anyway, he has good hygiene. That is another thing I'm a sucker for. You don't understand. A clean man? A clean man? A clean man? I ain't gonna lie. It's likely I'm gonna choke you with my drawers. That's how I feel about a clean man. I ain't gonna lie. It's just simply irresistible to me. I'm a fiend for a clean man. He works hard and inspires me to be the best version of me. He is not forceful about anything. He loves me. He adores me. He loves and adores my children. He healthily embraces them and educates them as if they were his very own. He is social enough to meet and form a relationship with my family. And I'll just go one more paragraph, just trying to give you insight as to what I was going for here. We complement one another in any situation. He comes to me for advice and insight. He comes to me when he needs help. He provides the same safety net for me. He is responsible and sensible with money. He is not reliant on any drug or drink. So again, I just went over that, shared a few paragraphs so that you understand where I started when I started manifesting mates, and that I was very thorough with even the first one. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of that I'm like cringe, like the whole working hard thing, no longer a thing for me. I have a different version of that. I understand what I genuinely meant when I said that. And I understood by constantly attracting workaholics. Coming from a previous life where I was a workaholic, I'm not a workaholic now. I still have a strong work ethic and a man with a strong work ethic. But I don't like them workaholics. That's not for me. That's all I'll share of that manifestation here. Again, if you want to meet me on Patreon, I'm going to go ahead and divulge the rest of it. And I may even give the updated ones. But it is very important that you are specific, that you are detailed. And again, as you learn and pick up more about yourself and what you want and what you need from the inside, just update it. Everything in your world is customized for you. So customize it. The way to manifest a mate is to know what you want. That's where you start. Know what you want. Don't guess or think and maybe throw out a tens of options. No, know what you want. And that's not hard. Take a second to decide. Sit with yourself, quietly think about it, decide. What did you not like last time? What did you wish you had last time? What are you wanting right now? Whatever it is, write it down. If your desire is to have a mate that flies their airplane to work every morning and then comes home and cooks you dinner every night with one peg leg and a patched eye, that's what you asked for, and that's what you're going to get, because there is 8 billion-ish people on this earth. And trust me, somebody out there got a plane, a peg leg, and an eye patch looking for you with the other eye that's not patched. Yeah. But another valid part is that once you write this down, it's okay to go ahead and revisit it. Remind yourself from time to time when you're in a great mood. Even look over it daily if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that. Yet I also don't feel like it's mandatory. And in addition to that, you must add not harping or being obsessed about this person you're wanting. So again, if you're in a good place, read it, look it over, maybe feel warm in the desire. But don't sit there all day like, oh, when are they coming? Oh, it's been 2 weeks. I don't know your case. I don't know. But maybe in your case, it's over 2 weeks. Oh, it's been 2 weeks. Oh, I don't understand why they're not here. I keep asking and it's not working. Oh, this guy came and that's not the guy. You have to go ahead and be intentional. Know what you want and be patient. I heard something the other day, and actually it could have been a meme. Oh, I don't remember who said it or wrote it or even where I saw it. It was either YouTube or TikTok because I don't really go anywhere else. And in any case, it said, when you ride a train and you go through a tunnel, you don't throw the ticket out and say, let me off, because you don't know what's on the other side of the tunnel. You just keep riding. You have faith that you're going where you want it to go. You bought your ticket, you have your ticket, and this is where you're going. Your destination is on a ticket. You said you're going there. So again, you don't hit a dark tunnel and say, hey, this isn't what I agreed on. I don't know what's on the other side of that tunnel, and throw your ticket out. You don't do that. It's the same thing here. Think of yourself as already claiming what you said it's going to be. And in the meantime, you don't know which turn is next. You don't know which street you're going down. You don't know which tunnel you're going through. But if you have that faith that it's there where you imagined it to be, where you said it would be, and where you bought your ticket to go, then it's there. Don't say anything else opposite, contrary to it. Don't push it away. It's there. Be patient, relax, read a book. Do something. Look at the beauty out the window. But don't panic and don't feel like it's not working, and don't go ahead and put obsession in anger or frustration on it, because again, you'll just push it away further. You will prolong it. It'll still come, in my belief, but it'll take long enough for you to comprehend what you are doing to push it away. You must reside spiritually where you feel you belong. If you gripe with others about how untrustworthy people are, or agree that they all cheat, so you'll never find someone that's faithful, someone that's completely faithful, then you won't. If you live off of the current gender wars, if you thrive off of that community, the men and the women that are bickering and fighting about every little thing and who's wrong and who's right, you're not going to find what you're looking for. If you see one similar behavior in a person that reminds you of a past experience with another person, maybe, now you feel like you already know what they're doing and where they're going with this, you're not allowing the love to flow through. So again, I implore you, check all of your resources, check all of your settings before you venture into calling someone in. But you are capable. But as usual, it is up to you, because you are amazing, you are awesome, you are capable, you are powerful, you are a bigger budget being. I will revisit this subject in the future, not only on my Patreon, where I'm going to read the rest of that manifestation, but also in the future about my current guy and how that came about. Once I went ahead and revised it and kicked the other dude out of my energy and spent time with myself, once I did all of that, he came in fiercely. He came in starting off where the other guy was lacking. Like all the things that I did not enjoy about the previous guy, my guy came in and started there. It's not like he knew. Nobody told him. He doesn't know the other guy. I didn't tell him, and he didn't see my manifest. So he had no idea. And yet the things that I felt I was missing, that is literally what he started with. Which is kind of awesome, because when I think about it, I'm not sure that I put it in that way in my manifest for him. But whatever's the case, I will visit that. I will share that with you, and that is for a future episode. There are too many people on this earth for there not to be an option for you. And I'm going to go ahead and plug in a show that I love. Married at First Sight. I love that show, and I feel like it is one of those shows, even though there's a lot of fluff in between as far as production, I'm sure, it's still a show where there's an authenticity to it, because these people don't know each other. And even if, like I said, I don't know what the fluff is behind the scenes, even if they had met prior to, and they're pretending not to know each other, whatever's the case, like there is still an authenticity to it, because even if they met for the show, they don't know each other. Do you know what I mean? But that's a great show. If you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it. Married at First Sight, for me, it just further proves visually for you to look at in this physical world that there is someone for everyone. Not all matches are a go. Not all matches make it through. There is someone for everyone, no matter what type of person you are. It has to come from you. Sit down, decide what you want, write it down clearly in detail, especially if you're in a great optimistic mood. Write it down in detail and call them in. Before you know it, they're going to be coming. Pay attention to the signs. Listen, pay attention, listen to your body, and before you know it, you will have manifested that somebody. But I think I've talked your ears off long enough. Thank you for being here as usual. I appreciate you coming to the road less traveled. Write me, send me an email if there's something you would like me to speak about, or if you just want to share your experience, you have a story you want me to share here, whatever's the case, email me. I am more than happy to hear from you. Like, share, subscribe, and yeah, until next time, real ones, stay real, be great, don't accept the hate, and never surrender to the pretender.